Hola, amigos, and welcome to another session of Simp Recovery, step number 2. I am Red Pill Biker, and I welcome you to Red Pill Biker Studios, as you well know is the dinette in my RV. So, step number 2 in your typical program, your 12-step program, reads, came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. And I'm telling you guys, us recovering simps, we got pretty waylaid. We got pretty crazy. We got fed a line of baloney and we ate it all up. So we need something that is going to restore our sanity, to help bring back our logical, rational thinking. Now, before anybody goes, oh crap, this guy's going to get all preachy on us. No. That is not what I'm going to do. I realize in the 12-step programs, they are referring to God, and they actually state the term God in their other steps. But bear with me for a second, because I want to share with you another alternative. Let me read to you from Marcus Aurelius. Life is a pilgrimage and a struggle. All we have of time is a moment. The universe is in constant flux. Our bodies are fragile. Our senses grasp so little. Our souls are a mist. The future is a fog. And fame is fleeting. Oh man, there's an awful lot of truth just wrapped up in that. That's a half a dozen videos right there, but I digress. The physical world is an ever-flowing stream, and the spiritual is an elusive vapor. Neither can be grasped and held. Okay, so far Marcus Aurelius is just telling us a bunch of truth, and it's a harsh truth, man. Everything's changing, everything is in flux. Our bodies are so fragile. Hell, I know that better than anybody. I just got through a major heart surgery and I'm rebounding pretty good and I'm feeling great, but it makes a guy realize, man, you are fragile. Or, which I've done this too, if you ever wreck a motorcycle and you tear yourself up pretty good, you'll lay there on the ground and go, oh my God, my body is fragile. So we got truth so far, but what has he given us? He hasn't given us anything to latch onto. What's that higher power that can help us through life? Let me share that with you, because he does continue. What can guide us? Only one thing. Philosophy. Philosophy can guide us. Philosophy consists in keeping your inner spirit free, undisturbed, above pain and pleasure, acting with purpose in line with principle. Got to have a set of principles for this to work. Embracing all that happens as coming from the same source that gave you life. Now here you could go off and say, okay, is it God? You decide. Is it nature? You decide. Is it evolution? You decide. But there is something out there writing out the script. Do I know what it is? No, I don't. But he goes on. And accepting death is nothing more than the reconfiguration of elements and particles that make up all things. In other words, living according to nature. Look, as I said in my last video, in my opinion, life has gotten really unnatural. I think that the feminine has been totally warped. And in the process, the masculine has been warped as well. So we have to look to something to give us guidance. And Marcus tells us that something is philosophy. And that philosophy is nothing more than looking at nature and following nature's guidance. Just because the rest of the world has decided to take an unnatural path doesn't mean we as men have to do the same. Now, I realize the vast majority of men will follow along wherever the females decide to go. So what about the rest of us? How about those of us who have been red-pilled and have woken up to the reality of things and realized this is not any kind of system that's going to work for me? We have to replace that with something, because nature abhors a vacuum, and it will fill it with something. It might be something positive, it might be something negative. We don't have any control what's going on out here, but as I've said before, and I will say again, we have control over our thoughts, over our actions, over our perceptions, and over our speech. We have to be putting in new programming so that we can have those healthy thoughts, because our actions are going to follow those thoughts. Our perceptions of how we see the world is going to put us in a place of how we view ourselves in the world. We have a control over that, complete control over our own perceptions. And we have control over our speech. What the heck are we saying to ourselves and to one another, for that matter? We have control over this. I think Marcus Aurelius is onto something as far as having a higher power in our lives to help us restore us to sanity, is simply this: we develop a philosophy. Of course, I'm going to push Stoicism because that's what's worked for me. And I think it would work for more men. I actually believe Stoic philosophy is a man's philosophy. Can women read it? Sure. Can they get anything out of it? I don't think so. But we can. We're the ones who have to restore our sanity, because one day the world is going to come back and say, are there any sane men out there? And it might just be us remnant guys. Probably won't be in my lifetime, but it might be in yours. Anyway, I say develop a philosophy, which I've spoken of before. I say read some Stoic philosophy, see if that clicks with you. Set out a set of principles and see where your life goes. I have a feeling you guys might be very pleased with the outcome. Anyway, gentlemen, life is hard. Don't make it any harder than it needs to be. Keep it real, and adios.